What about when it comes to something like tap water? Like when
Yeah.
you're at a restaurant and they say, "Do you want tap or, bottled?"
I just say I want the glass bottled water because that has no microplastic in it to speak of.
How bad is tap water for
It's
you?
really bad.
I've always been told it's good for you because it has, like, all the minerals in it. It's not, like, totally filtered. It has things in it that would be beneficial for you. I've always just drank tap water.
So if we were to measure the tap water you're drinking, it does have dissolved minerals from 100-year-old plumbing with lead in it, with all the stuff from the PVC. There's abundant levels of atrazine, which basically makes frogs into hermaphrodites, and it messes with your testosterone in a major way. It has birth control pill residues left in it. It has antibiotics left in it.
But are those in any amounts that will actually make a difference to you?
Unfortunately, they are.
So why
Life is
can't
sad.
that just be taken out by these tap water companies and they just, like,
Well,
run it
if
through
they
a
take it
filter?
out at the central plant, it'd be very expensive. And then the pipes are not at all clean. So the best thing to do is get a reverse osmosis unit and take it out before you drink it. And if you're going to a restaurant, that's one of the many reasons not to go to restaurants. But if you're going to go to a restaurant, don't drink the tap water, right? Either don't drink any water, which seems to be your thing, or drink bottled water.
I drink very little water, but then the water I do drink is tap water. So
Wow.
is that worse?
It's not a good call to do it that way. Drinking water is good, but most people like 8 glasses a day. Did anyone ever tell you how big glasses are?
I was assuming it would just be like a cup.
Uh,
I don't know.
They never tell you. It's complete made up bullshit. And many people, they drink water because they think they're supposed to, and they're actually harming their performance.
Mm.
I don't drink water without salt or minerals in it ever. And it means I need less water, and it means my brain works all the time. But if I drink 2 big glasses of water with no electrolyte in it, I can feel a difference in my performance. My body's like, you bastard, you just diluted all the salt in my cells, and we're essentially salt batteries. So salt is profoundly good for you. And if you're going to drink tap water, you should filter it, man. Like, why take the toxic hit?
What do you think of Brian Johnson?
I knew Brian before he got into longevity because of his work with Kernel and neuroscience. And it's funny, my big campaign for my longevity book was I spent $2 million to reverse my age by 20 years. I'm going to live to 180. And he's come out, and I'm very happy that he's spent, reports say, $25 million on marketing the longevity movement. We need lots of voices in longevity. So generally, I like Brian. I don't do all the things he does. And I don't know that I like all the metrics he uses, that I have some different ones. But generally, inspiring people to do things that make them live longer is a really good thing.
How do you eat when you're traveling?
I bring 100 grams of animal protein powder with me when I travel because it's hard to get enough protein on the road. And then I usually intermittent fast in the morning. I make Danger coffee in my own hotel room, and I have that for breakfast. Sometimes I'll put protein in it, which doesn't taste great, but I don't care. And then I'll eat 1 or 2 meals a day. Like today, I've had nothing but coffee. And it's, what is it, like 2:30? So
I've had nothing but coffee today too.
before I get
I've had
on,
nothing but a new tonic today.
Oh,
There you go.
wow, there you go.
before I get on the airplane, I'm going to find somewhere that has steak, and I'm going to go eat probably a pound of steak, and I'll get on the airplane and fly home. So that's my most important food, is protein and fat, and everything else is optional.
How bad is alcohol for you?
Alcohol is really bad for you. It is so pro-cancer, pro-aging. It's just not a good choice. So I have a rule for alcohol. I only drink alcohol that's older than I am. That means it gets progressively more expensive and harder to find as I get older. So it's rate limiting. The reality though, like if I'm going to have sushi and I have a couple shots of high-end sake with it, who cares? But if you're having it once a week, it's actually affecting your performance for multiple days. And everyone I know is like, I'm going to go a month without it. Like, wow, my life really did get better. But if you're going to drink, there's a bunch of stuff I've put out there over the years. I put out a big infographic on alcohol. Distilled spirits are much less toxic than wine and beer because you're relying on technology to get out the impurities, but wine and beer, you're relying on your liver and kidneys to do it. And if you're going to do it, you want to take glutathione, which is a supplement that protects the liver from alcohol-induced toxicity. 20% of the toxic byproduct of alcohol comes from liver metabolism. The other 80% comes from your gut bacteria. To fix that, There's a genetically engineered probiotic called Z-Biotic, and you take a little shot of that, and for 24 hours after you take that, your gut bacteria won't make those toxins from alcohol. So if you're going to drink, number one, it's not a great idea, but drink the hard stuff, take Z-Biotic, take glutathione, and take some extra electrolytes, and you'll be fine.
You do that after you drink?
You do the Z-Biotics ahead of time. You do the glutathione before, during, and or after. And the electrolytes should be before, during, and after.
And how much of this is in your control versus genetics? Because some people just seem to have zero effect on alcohol. They could just drink whatever they want to, and they are fine the next day.
Yeah, they call them alcoholics. So with those people, I mean, there are people like that, like that can't function without, a
Oh,
fifth
no, I'm
of
not saying you
whatever.
can't function without,
Yeah.
but like if I have more than 2 drinks,
Yeah.
I feel it the next day. I am tired. I'm lethargic. I lose my motivation. It's not worth it. But other people could have 10 drinks.
When
And
you were 26, could you do that?
not really. It really
Okay.
started affecting me early, like way earlier than
Okay.
anyone else.
I still feel fine. Like I maybe get hungover 1 out of every 10 times I drink.
Most people until their mid-20s handle alcohol really well. It's still ruining your brain, and there's plenty of studies about that. But you don't feel it yet because you have just a lot of resilience. So there is a genetic difference, and there's also just how good is your body at clearing toxins, and some of that's genetic, some of that is what else is in there. So let's say you stopped drinking tap water and you rehydrated your body so that your cells are better. Like if you came into Upgrade Labs, we'd look at your cell hydration and be like, ugh, and we'd show you what was going on and make it a performance enhancement goal for you. So let's say you start doing your electrolytes in water, 3 times a day, you might be much more resilient to alcohol. So there's a lot of environmental variables, but you might be Asian. You're not going to tolerate it because there's an Asian gene that makes you not do it. You might have MTHFR, which I do, or some other things that make it harder to process toxins. You could have a leaky gut. So the more problems you have, the worse alcohol is for you. But if you have no problems, you drink alcohol, it's still causing damage that we can prove and increasing your risk of cancer. So I would say instead of alcohol, you should do what we do in Austin, like eat half a gram of mushrooms at a party. It's probably good for your brain. It's certainly better than alcohol for your brain and has much less of a downside.
How bad are fried foods for your brain?
Depends what you fry them in. If they're fried in canola, soybean, and corn and vegetable oils, they are so bad for your brain. I would actually smoke a cigarette before I'd eat a plate of French fries, because the cigarette, even though it's burning stuff and is bad for your lungs, that only creates about 8 hours of inflammation, and you're going to get 2 days of inflammation from the French fries. I just don't eat fried stuff unless I fry it in my own oils.
But
like
why are
tallow.
so many people using those sort of oils then?
Because they're cheap, right? Back in about, was it the early 90s? There's a big campaign from the canola oil and soybean oil companies like Crisco. And they're like, let's compete with tropical hard fats. Everyone used tallow because it was a very stable oil, and tallow is really good for you. It gets rid of fatty liver. So all the French fries were made with that, and people were fine. And they switched to these crappy oils, and the obesity rate's just been going up ever since. So they do it because it's cheap. I invested in a company called 0 Acre Farms about 5 years ago that's doing a fermentation-based oil that's entirely heat stable that costs less than soybean and canola oil. And assuming that their plan works, we should be able to free up millions of acres of prairie land in the US and return it back into just being nature instead of being row after row of corn with dead soil. So we have a big challenge ahead of us to fix our food supply. And one of them is we need a source of oil that doesn't go rancid when you cook it. And that means it needs to be saturated or at least monounsaturated. And we can do it with tech. We just have to have the motivation, which means we talk about the problem. What the big food industry does is they just try to say there's no problem despite all the evidence. And thank God there's enough other people sharing this. Vani Hari, Food Babe's a good friend. RFK is out there doing this. Callie Means, Jason Karp. These are all friends, and we're out there changing the food supply right now. They just pulled all these petroleum dyes that had no business in food. They just announced they're going to fix that. So I'm a part of that small group of people who's just pushing and pushing and pushing on how do we fix this. And that oil has to change.
Yeah, I saw that bill that they're trying to ban food dyes.
No, just petroleum-based food dyes and some other toxic ones.